This is Thieves Cant Capers, unlocking the systems behind the stories. Welcome back to Thieves Cant Capers, our deep dive into systems, mechanics, and the games behind the stories we share at the table. I'm Jeremy Shane.
And I'm Chris White.
And this is the Draw Steel Job, Part 7. Today, we conclude our trek through the character creation chapters. We're taking a look at kits, perks, and complications. Chris, we are deep in it at this point.
This is good stuff. I didn't expect to be as excited about these things, these elements, as I am.
Reminds me of when we first discovered the backgrounds chapter and how much more robust those options were than we initially expected. Speaking of those earlier chapters, if you're looking for the basics of Draw Steel, if you're looking for ancestries, backgrounds, anything of that nature, just go back a few episodes. We've got it all waiting for you. It's there. It's good stuff. Dive in. Just a reminder, if you want to reach out to us, you can do so at Thieves Cant Cast. You can also email thievescantcast@gmail.com. All right, ready to dive in?
I'm ready.
All right, let's take a look at kits as we continue to flesh out our Draw Steel heroes. Kits are not for everyone. These are limited to certain classes. These are options for sensors, furies, shadows, and tacticians. Essentially, they are a combination of weapons, armor, and fighting techniques. Just on the surface, Chris, what do you think of grouping all of these things under an umbrella rather than giving those individual choices to players?
I like it. I think it's kind of an elegant choice. It's a little different. And the thing is, these aren't just like mundane inventory choices either. Like there's some magical elements to a lot of this. There's some unique powers and abilities. And as through the whole thing, it's just, this is another way to make every character distinct. Whatever other similarities they may have, it's just another difference.
From the outside looking in, those unfamiliar with Draw Steel might consider this a watering down of character choice. It really couldn't be further from the truth.
Right.
The depth of options here is impressive.
It is.
Your choice of kit is never locked in. You can change kits as a respite activity. To, maybe tweak your approach to that next big encounter is coming up. The descriptions provided are pretty broad for each kit, meaning that you can determine the specifics as you see fit. The game really encourages skinning equipment in a way that's appropriate to your story. In terms of armor that's provided by a kit, there are 5 categories. None. You're simply wearing clothing, like as much or as little as you choose, right?
Right.
Light could be padded cloth or leather armor or a chain shirt. Medium, this implies thick hides or maybe just a breastplate or scale armor, right? You can kind of see these skinning options showing up.
Yep.
Heavy. Chainmail, ring mail, or plate mail. Basically, you are armored head to toe if you are wearing heavy armor. Or it might just simply be a shield, meaning you can wield a shield of any shape, any size.
Yeah, so it doesn't get you bogged down into the minutia of, I'm wearing specifically a chainmail shirt versus a ring mail, and that has it's
right.
Statistically, it's going to be the same. It's the same feel, so you make it what you want.
Choose your own minutia.
Right. If you're not interested in wearing plate mail, you want to have a different look, maybe you want some cool chain or dragon scale armor, something like that, then just flavor it that way, and mechanically, it's going to be the same. And somebody can still look at you and tell you're heavily armored. So
I really, really like this approach.
I do too.
In terms of weapons, there are 8 categories. Bow covers any weapon capable of firing or hurling projectiles. So it could be a short bow or a long bow, but it could be a sling.
Right.
In that bow category, right?
Spears.
Yeah. Ensnaring weapons, bolas, nets, anything else made to capture an enemy. and restrain them.
Mm-hmm.
Light weapons, those are one-handed melee weapons. Many can also be thrown or used defensively in the offhand. Medium weapons, these are one-handed melee weapons like axes, clubs, long swords. I don't think you can use one of these in the offhand. Heavy, that means two-handed melee weapons, great swords, great axes, mauls, morning stars. Polearm, two-handed melee weapons that increase your reach, glaives, halberds, spears, staffs. And then we've got unarmed strikes. So you're using punches, kicks, eye gouges, hair pulling and slapping. Right?
Three Stooges made manifest.
Yes. You are the weapon, right?
Right.
And then finally, whip. So this could be a leather whip, or it might be a spiked chain. It could be a flail. Mm-hmm. The book even gives an example. It might be a knotted rope with a dagger at the end of it.
Yeah.
You're just swinging around.
Yeah.
I would kill myself with that, I think.
Right. I think most of these, I know flails scare me.
Right.
So
using equipment that does not fall into one of your kit's categories means that you don't receive its benefits. You can still use it. Kits can also add bonuses to your stamina, to your speed, your stability, and your damage, as well as the distance of your ranged attacks and the number of squares that you can move when taking the disengage action. Now, notice I said can also add bonuses to those categories. Different kits hit different areas.
Right.
And then finally, each kit grants a signature ability, another signature ability to add to your suite of cool stuff you can do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the broad look at kits and what they're potentially made up of. Chris, any of these stand out to you?
They all stand out. Like it's fun going through this list. I mean, the very first one on the list, just an example, Arcane Archer.
Yeah, this is cool.
Oh, how cool is that? Like, is that the fantasy? Like, you want to be an archer? Cool. How would you like arrows that explode and there's fire? Right? Like, yes, I would like that very much. So, but maybe you're not into it. I'm the stealthy hunter. I don't want exploding arrows. So, go a different route. But I mean, all of these they're so interesting. And the thing is, you're not locked into these for your whole career. Like, take one, if you're like, kind of tired of this, and your respite, you can choose another. So I love that. But it's also character defining in a lot of ways.
Couple that stand out to me. I like the Geesarmere
polearm guy.
It says this is the kit for those who want to use a polearm for extended reach while remaining protected by sturdy armor. It's the kit that allows you to become the ultimate halberd, long spear, or glaive fighter. So, with this one, you're going to have that reach weapon. Your signature ability, you can deal damage to 2 creatures. So you're hitting them maybe with both ends of the polearm.
This is the choice for anybody who remembers the Lawbringer and For Honor. For all 3 of us, this is this is the choice.
I like that one. I'm going back to polearms here. I like stick and robe, armed with a simple reach weapon, often a quarter staff. A character using the stick and robe kit is highly mobile thanks to their light armor. This allows your hero to make maximum use of their weapon's length. So this one, your attack only targets 1 creature. Looks like it deals maybe slightly better damage than the Geesarmere. And instead of that medium armor, you're wearing light armor. Mm-hmm. Your stamina goes up. You've got a disengage bonus. So again, putting more emphasis on that mobility. Telling you, my first ever D&D character would have loved something like this.
Yeah.
I've always been a quarterstaff guy.
Well, yeah, you have. And I get it. It's awesome. It's great imagery. The Retiarius. You're the gladiator. Yeah. Like a lightly armored warrior with a net in one hand and a trident in the other. Oh, yeah. I love it.
Right. How about Mountain?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this one, you are just a straight-up armored tank dealing massive damage. You've got a nice melee damage bonus if you hit that Tier 3 result. You've got a bonus to stability and stamina as well. And again, you're just a tank. You get a Tier 3 success on your Pain for Pain signature ability. you're dealing 13 plus might or agility damage. So this is beefy, heavy hitting.
Yeah, all of these are, it just depends what you want to be. And it's narrowing down more and more to hit what your specific goal is. So you have all the other items that you've used building the character up to this point, and now you're going to hone that in even more.
Yeah, looking at the range of kits here, your options are wide open because so many of these signature abilities key off of your choice of attribute. Like Warrior Priest here, for example, the signature ability, your power roll can include might, reason, intuition, or presence. Again, this could appeal to a number of characters of a variety of builds.
Right. It's versatile. You use what's best for you.
So many times it feels like games like this, here's your suite of options, but if you squint, you can kind of pick out the ones that you're supposed to take as a certain class or archetype.
And then you're cut off from that option.
Right.
Just because of those limitations, or you have to build in a way you don't want to just to achieve that goal.
Right. Without playing the game proper, it doesn't appear that issue persists here in Draw Steel.
It's definitely diminished.
Any final thoughts on kits?
I love them. It's just one more layer on this delicious character cake.
All right, but it is not the final layer. We've got to take a look at perks up next. This is Chapter 7 in the Heroes book for Draw Steel. Perks are non-combat features to further customize your hero. But as the book explains, they are versatile enough for use in combat, certain circumstances. So you're going to get one perk from your career. Your career hands you one, and then you're going to gain others from your class as you level up. You get to dip back into the perks and make more choices. Mm-hmm. They come in 6 different types, right? They are crafting, exploration, interpersonal, intrigue, lore, and supernatural. Those are the broad classifications.
Yep. Obviously, some of these are self-explanatory, right? Crafting perks, you make things. That's essentially what it is.
Right. And a lot of these will come into play in like your downtime activities. You can choose an activity that you engage in. So I think, could be wrong, but I think your perks are going to feed into that a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, these aren't necessarily combat related. Some of them will be. Some of them will be outside of combat, obviously. But exploration perks, it's going to assist you in exploring different environments.
Right. And whenever I first scanned some of the exploration perks, I was scratching my head saying, well, what does this have to do with exploration? Like the first one in the list here is Brawny. Whenever you fail a might test, you can lose stamina equal to 1d6 your level to improve the outcome of the test by 1 tier. Mm-hmm. You can use this perk only once per test. So at face value, it's not explicitly tied to exploration.
Right.
But maybe a might test could come into play if you're climbing.
Yeah.
So that's where I had to go to kind of see the connection to
pushing yourself beyond your normal physical limit.
Sure.
Interpersonal perks, these are it's basically how you interact with other people, with other creatures. That's going to be, can you read people? Can you convince people of certain things? It's, if you think persuasion, deception, things like that. But you also have intrigue perks. So this is more if you're investigating mysteries, if you're trying to get to the truth of a matter, or, again, and this kind of ties in as well, if you have secrets you're trying to hide from others, that also applies.
Many of these perks, just by name, tell you what they're all about.
Yeah.
Right? Criminal contacts, a forgettable face, gum up the works, lucky dog. You can imagine what the in-game / mechanical aspects of these might look like.
Right. And then you have lore perks. So you can kind of think of these as like knowledge skills. Can you remember? Can you recall something you learned a long time ago? Languages. Just general knowledge about various topics. That's what falls into the lore perks.
I like, but I know who does. That's the name of a lore perk. And this is perfect. We've all been in the situation when an individual or an entire group fails a test to recall some bit of lore.
Right.
And then the GM is like, oh, why did I even make them roll for this? It's something they really do need to know. So this is a perk that allows you to, well, when you do fail that roll, you instinctively recall the nearest location where the information you seek might be found.
Right. And really, I think with a lot of these, there is that idea of we don't want a failed attempt at a perk to stop the story, right? We can't figure out the mystery, so it's done. We want it to continue on.
Right.
And so, this is something that the director is going to have to work through at times, but there needs to be an alternative, another way for example, for them to gather that information they need.
Yes.
And then, of course, we have supernatural perks, which, again, this is the idea of you're using magic and psionics to shape the world around you. So these are beyond the normal capabilities of individuals.
Yeah. If, for example, you want a familiar, this is where you're going to find rules for familiars. You can take the familiar perk, and there is.
I know exactly what you're about to say.
On page 231, I cannot get enough of the this eldritch French bulldog.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want?
Yeah.
An eldritch Frenchie familiar.
Yeah. I feel like I could smell this thing.
They can definitely smell you. Anything else on perks? Any perks that stand out that we didn't hit on that you want to call out?
Again, I love going through this list and just spotting the things that, if I'm playing this type of character, this
could be
this
fun.
is what I would want. Yeah. Or no, I'd want this one. Or no, I'd want this one. So choosing the perks just in itself just seems fun.
All right. And then that brings us to chapter 8, our final chapter that deals with character, hero creation. It's complications. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
I love this chapter. The first thing on the splash page that introduces the chapter that I notice is a giant D100 table of complications. I love a random table.
Yeah.
You don't have to roll on these randomly. You can select your own. But if you want to make it fun and random and just, let the gods decide.
I would be careful.
Yeah. So let's back up. Let's talk about what complications are.
Yeah.
So these are optional. All right. The book tells you don't have to use these for your character, but they are designed to help flavor your backstory. They're complications. So of course they're going to involve a drawback, but they also give you a benefit, and they're balanced. If it gives you just a slight drawback, you're going to get a slight benefit. If it gives you a major drawback, well, you can expect a major benefit.
Right.
How complications feature in the campaign is at the director's discretion.
Right.
So let's get back now to these 100 options and we're going to go from 100 down to 1 here. No, we're not.
These can get wild.
Yeah.
There's some wild stuff on that list. I don't know if you've noticed. That's what I'm saying. I'm scared of rolling on this table because there is some wild stuff on here.
So give me an example of something that scares you.
Here's a big one. I don't know if you've noticed it. Lost your head. Did you take a look at that one?
Tell me about lost your head.
Yeah, you've been beheaded. You've lost your head literally.
Well, this sounds appropriate for maybe a revenant.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's I suppose, but basically you have some latent psionic ability that allowed you to survive your decapitation.
Oh.
So you can, the benefit is that you have the share your head ability.
What?
Yeah, you can see, hear, and smell as if you were in the target space. And you can borrow their mouth to speak with your own voice. When the target moves more than 10 squares away from you, you lose that ability. You can psionically borrow someone else's head. But the drawback, I don't know how balanced this one is, to be honest with you. The drawback is you have no head. So you can't see, hear, smell, taste, or verbalize outside of using that ability. So when you're rolling on that table, just know.
You might lose your head.
Yeah. You also can't wear hats,
which
the
is
greatest of all drawbacks.
Because everybody wants a big fancy hat.
Sure.
Especially if you're playing that troubadour.
Exactly.
Right?
Now, your troubadour, I don't know where you're going to hang your hat.
I like knoll mauled. Knoll mauled. As a child, you survived a knoll attack, but that attack left you with a jagged scar and the occasional fit, just occasional fit of bloodlust.
Yeah.
So the benefit is whenever an ally within 5 squares is reduced to 0 stamina, you can use a triggered action to move up to your speed and make a free strike.
Yeah.
Right? The drawback, while you are dazed, and again, that's going to be circumstantial, if you start your turn adjacent to one or more creatures, and that's creatures, it doesn't specify enemy,
right,
you must use your main action to make a melee free strike against an adjacent creature. So there could be some friendly fire here.
Right.
And then there's a special note here. You can't take this complication if you can't be made dazed. Yeah, they want to close that loophole.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I think this is cool.
Yeah, it is cool. And speaking of some potential party struggles, Medusa blood. I like this one. The text is hilarious. Your mother and father never saw eye to eye. You know this because your father's still alive and your mother's a Medusa. That's pretty
What
good.
would have happened if they did see eye to eye?
Yeah, well, Dad wouldn't be doing so good. But, yeah, so you have the ability Stone Eyes.
Did you smoke too much?
Yeah, your eyes are very red. You basically have this ability to slow enemies with your gaze. It's really nice because it says that your allies are aware of this ability that you have, and they are able to avoid it. However, anyone else you meet is not, and they're going to look you right in the eye, So what happens if the headless, what if the headless troubadour sticks his head on the Medusa blood elementalist? I don't know. It's wild.
How about loner? You've always been a lone wolf. I have no friends. With no one else to lean on. You've picked up a million survival tricks, which made it all the more surprising when you joined your current adventuring group and found the family you'd never known you needed. Oh, well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Here's the benefit. When you finish a respite, choose a skill you don't have, and you have that skill until the end of your next respite. Now, that's neat.
Yeah.
Builds in some flexibility, versatility, picking up new skills from these people that you've never been around before.
Yeah.
The drawback, however, now that you finally have people who care about you, you won't let anyone take them away. Whenever a creature reduces one of your allies to 0 stamina, you are taunted by that creature until your ally's stamina is higher than 0, or another creature makes you taunted, or the end of the encounter. I like the flavor there.
I do too. I love the flavor of I mean, these are good for, as defining the character again, even further, digging down. And they're optional rules. It does point that out. You don't have to use the complications, but unlike real life, there's a lot of role play benefits. There's a lot of benefits to having complications.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, these are a lot of fun. Everything from losing your head to a secret twin. It's
right.
Good stuff.
Raised by beasts.
Yeah.
Or maybe you're a refugee, or you've got a secret identity. Again, your options are, well, I can't say limitless, but there are 100.
Layers upon layers for character creation.
Again, a big fan of all 3 of these chapters, especially the complications chapter here. I really think, again, optional, but you want one of these just to really round out your character, put the finishing touches on it, and hand the director, some interesting plot material. Don't be afraid to let your director take that information and make your story richer.
Right.
With that, I think we have covered all of the essential information for building a Draw Steel hero, everything from ancestries to background. We've trekked through classes, and now we've touched on kits, perks, and complications. Tell you what, coming up later in the week when we're back with our other podcast, Thieves Cant, we're going to open the Forge of Creation and maybe begin a build of a Draw Steel hero. So if you want to join us for that ride, be sure you look up Thieves Cant, a tabletop gaming podcast. Next week, when we return with another episode of Thieves Cant Capers, we'll be able to start exploring the chapter on tests and then later combat and negotiation, kind of the nuts and bolts of the system itself. So the Draw Steel job will continue next week. Until then, have a great week of gaming, and we'll see you next time. I'm Jeremy Shane.
And I'm Chris White.
It's been Thieves Cant Capers. So long.